Today we are going to discuss one of the most influential and controversial works in early Shia literature, Kitab Sulaym ibn Qays. This book contains many of the well-known stories about the events after the Prophet's death, the disputes, the tensions around succession, and the experiences of Lady Fatima al-Zahra and Imam Ali. Over time, many of these stories became part of what we might call Shia folklore, shaping Majlis culture, collective memory, and even aspects of communal identity. Yet despite its enormous influence, the question of the authenticity of this book is rarely examined publicly with academic rigor. And the reasons for this are obvious and need no explanation. The main question is simple: how reliable is Kitab Sulaym, and to what extent can we trust the narrations found in it? Before we go any further, let us make this absolutely clear. The oppression experienced by Lady Fatima and the marginalization of Imam Ali after the Prophet's death is well documented in early Muslim historical sources. The core narrative of injustice is grounded in sound and independent sources. We do not deny this, nor do we belittle it. A key question is, what exactly is this core narrative, and what are the later additions and fabrications surrounding it? Our focus here is not the fact of oppression. Our focus is on the specific dramatic details, the dialogues, the scenes, and the miracle-style descriptions that appear only in Kitab Sulaym and do not appear in any independent early historical source, yet became widely circulated because later authors adopted them. Scholars such as al-Tabrisi in al-Hujjah, al-Majlisi in Bihar al-Anwar, and many others copied narrations directly from Sulaym. As a result, many of these stories entered the Shia imagination, were repeated for centuries, and became a concrete part of Shia identity. What is surprising is this: even many Shia who reject Kitab Sulaym still believe the stories inside it, because they encounter those stories in later books without realizing that those books copied them from Kitab Sulaym. This is not just an academic exercise. When we talk about Ahl al-Bayt, the family of the Prophet, the inheritors of divine knowledge, we must be extremely careful about what we attribute to them. Every narration, every story, every dramatic scene that we put on their tongues or attach to their lives carries a huge responsibility. If it is true, it honors them. If it is false, it misrepresents them. If a narration is weak, isolated, or clearly shaped by later agendas, then repeating it as if it were solid history does not defend the Ahl al-Bayt. It actually distorts their legacy. We must tread carefully when narrating their words and describing their actions. Questioning the authenticity of Kitab Sulaym is not an attack on Shia belief. It is an attempt to protect Shia belief from unreliable material, to separate the solid core of history from later storytelling and polemical embellishment. Kitab Sulaym presents itself as a secret document written by Sulaym ibn Qays al-Hilali, supposedly a close associate of the first four imams. The book claims Sulaym recorded hidden teachings, private conversations, and confidential events. It also claims Sulaym later passed the entire book to a young man named Aban ibn Abi Ayyash, who became the only transmitter of this massive text. Kitab Sulaym contains narrations about the events of Saqifa, conflicts among various companions, threats made against the Prophet's household, physical attack on Lady Fatima leading to her martyrdom, as well as other details, including miraculous events. If authentic, it would be priceless. If not, its influence becomes very problematic. There are three main problems with this book. Number one, who was Sulaym? Many scholars questioned whether Sulaym ibn Qays actually existed. There is no reliable biography, no independent corroboration, no noteworthy mention of him as companion of any of the imams. No confirmed chain leading back to him. Some scholars even suggested the possibility that Sulaym ibn Qays was a fictional name created to give authority to the stories. People who quote biographical aspects of Sulaym as proof of his existence quote Kitab Sulaym as the sole reference, a clear case of circular logic. Number two, who was Aban ibn Abi Ayyash, the sole transmitter? Every version of the book comes only through Aban. Shia scholars across history, from early to modern, described Aban as weak, unreliable, confused, fabricator, or possibly the person who created the entire book. If the only narrator of this massive text is considered unreliable, then the entire text becomes unreliable by default. Number 3, textual growth and contradictions. Different manuscripts of Kitab Sulaym show clear signs of additions, deletions, contradictions, doctrinal updates, and entire chapters that appear centuries later. Some manuscripts mention 13 imams, which contradicts Shia doctrine and indicates textual manipulation. Broadly speaking, there are 3 scholarly opinions. 1. Sulaym ibn Qays was a pious companion of the imams, and the book is authentic. 2. Sulaym ibn Qays was a pious companion of the imams, but the current version of this book is falsely attributed to him. 3. No such person as Sulaym ibn Qays existed, and the book is a complete fabrication. We should clarify something here. Saying that the book is unreliable, whether partially or completely, does not mean that every single event inside it is false. Far from it. What it means is this: the content of Kitab Sulaym must be evaluated through corroboration. If a narration appears independently in other early sources, it gains credibility. If it appears only in Kitab Sulaym with no supporting evidence, then it must at the very least be treated with caution. Across 1,000 years, some of the most brilliant minds in Shia scholarship, jurists, theologians, hadith masters, and maraji, examined Kitab Sulaym. We now present the opinions of 11 extraordinary individuals. Number 1, Sheikh al-Mufid, a giant of early Shia theology, one of the greatest architects of Imami doctrine. His precision, logic, and courage shaped centuries of scholarship. This book is not trustworthy. It contains confusion and fabrication. A believer should avoid relying on anything in it and should not depend on it as a whole. Number 2, Ibn al-Ghadayri, one of the strictest critics in Shia hadith science, a man who feared no backlash when exposing forgery. When he rejected a book, scholars listened. The book is fabricated without any doubt. Sulaym is unknown, and the book contains clear signs of being invented. Aben ibn Abi Ayyash is weak and not to be relied upon. Our scholars attribute the writing of this book to him. Number 3, Allama al-Hili, a towering jurist and theologian, balanced, analytical, and methodical, yet firm when truth demanded firmness. The book is undoubtedly fabricated, and the strongest view, in my opinion, is to suspend judgment on anything transmitted by Aban ibn Abi Ayyash. Number 4, Ibn Dawood, author of one of the earliest organized works on narrator evaluation, known for sharp judgment and rigorous classification. Aban ibn Abi Ayyash is weak, and it is said that he is the one who composed the book of Sulaym ibn Qays. Number 5, Shahid al-Thani, a master of jurisprudence, commentary, and critical evaluation, a martyr scholar whose words carry extraordinary weight. One should not suspend judgment only on the faulty parts. Rather, one must suspend judgment on the entire book, because its chain of transmission is weak. Number 6, Ayatollah al-Khoy, the greatest marja of his era and the most influential hadith and rijal scholar of modern times. He is a milestone in the evolution of Shia jurisprudence. We have no reliable chain to the book of Sulaym ibn Qays. The chain mentioned by earlier scholars is weak. The book we have today is not proven to be his. Number 7, Ayatollah Sistani, the leading Shia authority of our time, a scholar whose caution, wisdom, and rigor are respected across the world. There is a problem in its chain of transmission. Number 8, Sayyid Muhammad Hussain Fadlallah, a global religious authority and a bold reformer. His clarity of thought made him one of the most influential scholars of the modern era. Kitab Sulaym ibn Qays is not reliable, and it contains confusion that is obvious to everyone. Number 9, Sheikh Bakr Bahboudi, the strict modern hadith critic who produced the famous work Sahih al-Kafi. Feared by fabrications and respected by researchers, he is a legend in hadith criticism. This book continues to circulate even today, and it has been printed many times, but it contains absurdities, lies, and nonsense. Number 10. Sheikh Muhammad Asif Mohsini, a powerhouse of hadith analysis, founder of a major seminary in Afghanistan, known for deep scholarship and uncompromising honesty. It is worth noting that the Book of Sulaym has not reached us with any reliable chain, nor has its manuscript reached us with any reliable chain. Yes, some reports attributed to it do exist with sound chains in other books, but the book itself cannot be relied upon. Number 11. Hossein Modarresi, a world-renowned manuscript historian, Princeton professor, and one of the foremost authorities on early Shia textual history. Modarresi's analysis of Kitab Sulaym is devastating because it is grounded not in polemics but in pure manuscript archaeology and the intellectual history of early Islam. He concludes that the book is not a first-century text, nor the work of a companion of Imam Ali, but a late Umayyad period compilation written in Kufa by the masses, reflecting the crude religious ideas circulating among the Shia of that period. He states in Tradition and Survival, "The book is one written by commoners for commoners. It is a display of primitive, unsophisticated beliefs among the rank and file of the Shiites of Kufa during the late Umayyad period." His final judgment is that the book is undoubtedly a fake, fabricated during the late Umayyad period, and Aban ibn Abi Ayyash is the one suspected of the forgery. The text is full of additions and insertions rather than replacements and alterations. This is one of the strongest modern academic critiques of the book, and it aligns closely with the verdict of major classical scholars. Based on the exhaustive work of some of the greatest scholars and researchers, we believe it is best to reject Kitab Sulaym in its entirety. We see no value in lowering ourselves to learn the history of Ahlul Bayt or their actions from a text built on such obvious fabrication. In the second part of this series, we will examine several stories made famous by this book. We must warn our viewers, many of these narratives will be shocking to the average Shia listener. Not because they are true, but because they are false, yet widely accepted as normal history among the Shia masses. Thank you for watching, and we hope that you will watch the second video in this series as well.